Hello and welcome to Retirement Today. My name is Jenna Cairns, owner and financial advisor at Beacon Wealth Advisory, and we're here to help get you to and through retirement with financial peace of mind. If you'd like to listen to this podcast again or any of our past ones, you can find and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. We also have a YouTube channel, so you can type in Beacon Wealth Advisory in the search engine and subscribe to be notified every time we have a new video out. And so if there's something you hear on the show today as well that you have questions about, or if you'd like to get together for a complimentary consultation, feel free to give our office a call anytime at 1-800-994-8993. Again, that's 1-800-994-8993. Before we get started, I want to bring on my co-host this week and every week, Miss Jaclyn Gladhill. Always great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you, Jenna. It's always great to be here. And I just want to note to our listeners before we get too far in that, Jenna, I love the pink today. I love the spring look. And I think
Oh,
our listeners should definitely go check this video out on YouTube. It's going to bring a lot more happiness, I think.
oh, thank you. I know I've got the bright, happy flowers and the bright, happy shirt. You can tell I am ready for spring, right?
Yes, yes. Well, great news, Jenna. So, what will we be talking about today?
Yeah, well, obviously, Happy New Year to everyone. We're going to be talking about the retirement awakening, getting clarity for the year ahead. And this is obviously the time of year that all of us usually take a pause, really pause, and look at our lives with the kind of
Mhm.
honesty we don't always give ourselves, right?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And this is wonderful because the new year, it seems to be about fresh starts and you set goals for yourself that you want to
Hmm.
accomplish. And you try to figure out a way to accomplish those goals. So, but before we get started on this terrific topic, Jenna, I haven't seen you in a while. We haven't done a podcast and I've missed you. And I know that last week you attended a financial conference with other the best financial advisors around the country
Oh,
attended in Arizona. So tell me about it.
yeah. Well, it was nice to get into Arizona. It was sunny for some time. It rained a little bit. But I always love to go to those summits and those other conventions where other financial advisors are there. And I loved speaking at the Women in Business breakfast. One of the things that I enjoy doing the most in life is helping inspire and mentor other women financial advisors. So it was so great to just connect with all of them and speak at that breakfast meeting. And then I also felt very inspired. They had some amazing guest speakers, motivational to get you going for the year. The speaker that I liked the most, Jacqueline, was John Taffer. Have you ever watched him
Mm.
on the Bar Rescue Show at all?
I have not, but I've heard some things about him last week.
Okay, good. Well, I got to meet him and take a picture with him, and I was just blown away with just how much wisdom he shared at the conference. He's one of those people that's just very direct, and it's his job to help business owners that want to grow their restaurants and their bars. And so, one of the things that really hit home with me that I thought was good that he said many people fail in different areas of their life, like their business, financially or relationships or just in life in general because of excuses. And I'm sure, Jacqueline, there's probably at least one or two areas of your life that you make excuses in, right? We all do it, right?
Absolutely. And excuses, yeah, I we don't even need to go there, Jenna. I could go
Right.
on and on.
Right. Yeah, we all have them, right? But he said, this is the time of the year, and I love this, to really look in the mirror and take accountability for the areas of your life that aren't where you want them to be. And
Mm.
so some of you may be listening thinking, well, I'm really not where I want to be financially. And so you could ask yourself, is there anything I'm doing? Am I making any excuses about anything just to make it, a better year? And so after listening to him, I kind of came up with a motto for this year that I have no excuses. That's my
I
motto.
Well,
So,
that is going I mean, I support that, but man, that seems tough. I mean, it's
yeah.
easier said than done for sure.
Right, right, exactly. But it's a good motto. Everybody kind of comes up with words sometimes for the year or mottos
Mhm.
or mantras, whatever you want to call them. And so that inspired me to just really, have no excuses. I liked that. So,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I am excited to hear how you're doing. So, can you catch me up? Are we doing any wedding planning? I'm sure you are. What's the latest with that?
Yes, I mean, there's a lot going on. I feel like I'm very type A planner. So we do have a date. I don't know if I've shared that with you. So
No.
September 19th is when we will be getting married.
Cool.
And so yes,
Yay.
so now just, finalizing all the vendors and everything, but and I think that this actually relates a lot with this topic today, Jenna, because budgeting and clarity for the new year, and it's like as soon as the new year hit, man, did the wedding planning come. So I am ready to hear what advice you have for me today.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad you set a date and that's just something you'll look forward to it all year. But yes, I hear what you're saying. There are expenses that come along with weddings. And so, the budgeting will be helpful. I'll make sure to throw in a lot of budgeting tips for you this year.
Yes, yes, and I
Um,
I also just wanna mention, like, when we talk about the year, we are already halfway through January,
I
and,
know
it's gonna go by really fast, and
it
so
is.
all these goals and ambitions that we're setting for this new year and the no excuses, I mean, it's now or never. Let's do it
Right.
all together. I mean, overall, financially, emotionally, whatever you've set for yourself for this new year, let's work on it.
Yes. Love that, Jacqueline. And I think it really does depend on what stage of life you're in. If you're in your 50s or early 60s, that pause can feel very different. At that point, it's not about resolutions or gym memberships. It's about something deeper, something quieter. It's about realizing that retirement isn't a distant idea anymore. It's a
Mhm.
chapter that is coming very close into focus. And I will say, even in my 40s, Jacqueline, I'm realizing how quickly retirement is coming, even though I
Mhm,
don't plan on retiring until my 60s, it's really not that far away. And so
mhm.
it's really good to get that clarity and have that focus as well this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just talked about how fast the year's gonna go and how fast time
Yep.
flies. So today, I know you shared with me, Jenna, that we're not talking about spreadsheets or formulas, which I mean, that's kind of where I like though, but I mean, but we're gonna be telling stories of people who stepped into the new year and finally said, it's time to look ahead with faith and optimism and have no excuses.
Yes, no excuses. Well, let's start with Mark. He's 62. He told me that on New Year's morning, he woke up before the sun. The house was quiet. He made his cup of coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and just breathed.
Hmm.
Isn't
I
that
mean,
great?
I can absolutely picture that. The stillness, the weight of the new year.
Yes. He said, for the first time, I realized I'm closer to my last day of work than my first. And he
Mm.
wasn't sad. He wasn't scared. He was simply aware, aware that the future wasn't something to ignore anymore.
And that moment, that shift that you're talking about is something so many people feel, but they rarely talk about.
Yes. And that moment led him to gather every account statement he had. He spread them across the kitchen table. And he told me, I really expected to be overwhelmed, but instead he felt relief and a sense of peace because he had been saving and planning.
Mhm. And awareness is super powerful. It doesn't solve everything, but it sure does open the door or have the door be open.
It does. And once that door opens, you can't help but start imagining what comes next.
Yeah, what's on the other side?
I know. Well, now let's talk about Denise. She's a nurse who spent her entire life caring for everybody else. Does that sound familiar, Jacqueline?
Uh-huh.
On New Year's Eve, after her family left, she was cleaning up the kitchen. She reached for a stack of plates and just stopped. She told me she felt this wave of exhaustion, not burnout, something gentler. A realization that she wanted her next chapter to be softer, to live a softer life.
And that pause probably changed everything for her.
Yes, it did. She sat down at the table, surrounded by half clean dishes, and whispered to herself, "What do I need to do now so I can rest later?"
Oh, and that is a pretty powerful question. So, what do I need to do now so I can rest later?
Mhm. And it led her to schedule her first meeting with a financial planner, not because she was behind, but because she wanted clarity. She wanted to know what was possible. She wanted to know how much she would need to save to eventually live the life she wanted in retirement, that time
Yeah.
of rest.
Yeah. And what I love about Denise's story is that it didn't start with numbers or our least favorite word, a budget sheet. It's it it started, with a feeling, a vision for the future of her future.
And feelings are often the first sign that something in our life is shifting.
Our feelings and intuition are definitely something to pay attention to and pray about.
Yes. Well, then there's Carlos and Elena. They were married for 35 years. They always said, "We'll talk about retirement someday," but someday never came.
Yeah. And I feel I hear that about a lot of different things too, not just retirement. But
Mhm.
it came, New Year's Day, right?
Mhm. They were taking down holiday decorations. Carlos was wrapping lights around his arm and said, "Elena, where do you see us living in 10 years?" Elena froze because she'd been thinking the same thing. Isn't that weird?
Wow. And that's the moment everything opened up for them.
Yes. They sat on the living room floor, surrounded by ornaments and tangled lights, and talked for about 2 hours about downsizing, about travel, about healthcare, about Social Security, about what they wanted their life to feel like.
That's so sweet. I mean, honestly, I can feel that just the way that you explain that. That's amazing. And that conversation then becomes the foundation of their plan. And I know, Jenna, you always say that the first step in creating a great retirement income plan is first getting an idea of what kind of lifestyle you want to live in retirement.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yes, a quiet moment, a pause, a realization that the future does deserve attention.
yeah. And what I love about these stories is how different they are. I mean, yet they all share the same turning point, and none of them started with math. Can we just point that out? And I mean, they start with emotion, with
Mhm.
a vision, with honesty and what you truly individually want.
Yes. And once you can see a vision for the future, then you can plan for it. So, Mark pictured teaching his grandson to fish. Denise pictured mornings without alarms. Wouldn't that be nice?
Mhm.
Carlos and Elena pictured a smaller home near their daughter.
And those visions and dreams become their compass. I mean, they're now guided every decision that they followed.
Yes. And so then, now that they knew that, it was time to take action. Mark gathered his accounts and increased his contributions in his 401k. Denise created a healthcare strategy. Carlos and Elena made a list of what mattered most and what they could let go of,
Mhm.
which was great.
Yeah, and none of them made perfect decisions. They did make intentional ones. And I think it's also important to have a goal, but be mindful that, it might change and you might have to keep looking at it.
Mhm. Exactly. And that's really what matters most, really taking those action steps and planning with intentionality with hopefully no excuses, right?
Yes, like we all hope for that, right?
Right, right. Well, what ties their stories together is that they all decided afterward to create a New Year's ritual, a moment to sit down, breathe, and pause and say, what does my future self need from me this year? I'll say that one again. What does my future self need from me this year?
Yeah, and that question is compassionate, it's grounding, and most importantly, it's actionable.
Yes. And Jacqueline, I want to share something that my husband and I do every year on New Year's Day. We do have a New Year's Day ritual, and I think it would be just good to share with our viewers and listeners.
Mhm.
So, what we do is we usually get a babysitter for the day and we go out to a restaurant that's bright, happy, has a great, inspiring atmosphere. And we look at the year before and we talk about what we liked, what was fun, what went well. And we also talk about what we'd like to change. And then we set goals in various areas of our life for the new year. So we both set our own spiritual goals, family goals, career goals, financial goals, health goals, and relationship goals, and we share them together because I do think when you're married, it's good for your goals to align and for you to be able to support each other in reaching those goals. But then after we write all these goals down in those various areas, we pray about them together and really pause. And it is just such a beautiful way to start the new year with that intentionality of really making sure that our schedules and our finances and everything, all the decisions we're making in life really line up with those goals and those visions. And so I do think it is just great to have a New Year's Day ritual like that to just start off the year really with intentionality, right?
Yeah, I love that ritual, Jenna, and I might have to implement that in my relationship. How inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's been wonderful. We've been doing it for years, and I wouldn't start off the year any other way. So, but if you're listening today and you feel echoes of Mark or Denise or Carlos and Elena, you're not alone. The new year can be your turning point too. A lot of you have spent decades showing up for everyone, for work, for family, for responsibilities. Now it's time to show up for the version of you who's about to step into a new chapter. And if you're close to retirement, it could be a chapter filled with choice, rest, purpose, and possibility.
Absolutely. And, thank you for our listeners and viewers for spending time with us today. Here's to a new year of clarity, courage, and retirement that you can step into with confidence. People can especially step into the new year with a financial advisor like you, Jenna, who, that
Aw.
has many years of experience helping people live their best lives in retirement. And, how did they get a hold of you, Jenna, to schedule a consultation?
Yes. Well, we would love to help people start off the new year and take a look at their goals, their visions, and put together a plan to reach those dreams and goals. Our number to schedule the consultation is 1-800-994-8993. Again, that's 1-800-994-8993. And we'd love to connect with you.
Well, thank you. And I just want to point out that, this this lesson and your vision for your retirement, it's time to put you yourself first. And that's actually one of my New Year's resolutions this year, Jenna, is
Wow.
I've always
Good.
been a people pleaser. I do
Yeah,
that all the time. And so this
I
year is the year
understand.
that I'm going to put myself first, including my what I want and need for my wedding. And we're going to focus on that. So listeners and viewers, put yourself first, put your vision and your ambitions and goals first this year. So that does it for this episode of Retirement Today with our host, Jenna Cairns. And if you would like to listen to this again, you're welcome to listen on beaconwealthadvisory.com or visit us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. Thank you.